We like to get out there and garden and grow things organically. And there's nothing better than planting the seed, watching it grow, knowing it's not sprayed with the chemicals and things, that we're producing healthy food for our family. And just the fun of going out there and getting it and eating it and enjoying it.
We are excited to announce our upcoming event in April. On the 25th of April, we are having a women's night out. That's right. Tell them, Caroline.
Yes, it's going to be so good. It's at the Landing, 6 to 8:30 p.m. We are going to have Dr. Edie Wadsworth speaking, women's health, hormones. She's going to cover all of that.
And I might even tell a couple stories too. You never know, if Caroline lets me. But we want to personally invite you. Listen, this is going to be a great event for you to bring friends, family members. Last time we had this event, we just had an unbelievable response. Gave out, I want to say, thousands of dollars worth of prizes. We'll probably have around 20 to 25 booths there. You'll be able to just walk around and fellowship together. Just get out and get away from the guys.
That's it. Come join us on April 25th, 6 to 8:30 p.m. at the Landing in Morristown.
See y'all there.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Dr. Heskett and Caroline here with our next episode of Coffee with the Chiro. We have some very special guests today. Our very own Heskett Family Chiropractic, Dr. Andy and Dr. Sandy. And they practice down in Dandy. That's Dandridge, so it all rhymes. But anyway, I want to give you a little background on them. We're very excited to have them visit us today on our Coffee with the Chiro. Caroline's got some great questions for you guys. But before we do that, I want to introduce most of our patients who are watching already know that they are in our Dandridge location as well as in our Rogersville. I got a Facebook message from them, of all places, Caroline, in the duck blind. And I looked at the Facebook message. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I was looking at that and I was like, what is this? And it basically said, we've been in practice 22 years. We love the Lord. We love chiropractic, and we're relocating to Dandridge. And they asked if we would at all be interested in opening up another location in Dandridge. Yes. And now that dream has turned into a reality, and we're probably pushing up. This August will be 2 years in that location. And I was just over there today, and so many people from that area are from Dandridge and Newport and Sevierville and all their surrounding areas, Jefferson City, are all coming to that location, and lives are being changed. And so we're so grateful to have them as part of our team. They had their own practice for 22 years in California. And you should have seen their trip. It was like the Beverly Hillbillies moving from California. Andy was driving a big trailer, and it took them about 6 weeks to get here. But they packed up all their stuff. I went by their house and saw their garage. If anybody needs anything, they've got it all in their garage. But they're just awesome people who love the Lord. So welcome to Coffee with the Chiro, guys. We're so excited to have you on board, and we're excited to go into our one of our different essentials, health essentials. We've been talking about exercise, nutrition, rest, positive attitude, and getting adjusted. So this podcast session today is going to be covering nutrition and different ways that you can look at nutrition in order to be healthy. I know that Dr. Andy and Dr. Sandy, I've seen their farm before. They raise chickens, and we're going to hear all about that.
Yes.
So,
oh my
Caroline,
gosh. Thank you for the intro, Dr. Heskett. Dr. Sandy, Dr. Andy, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Well, okay. First question. I want to know, what has been the best thing about moving from California to Tennessee? Do you have just one, or one that stands out?
The number one thing was God put it on our heart to be here, so we answered that call. We listened to what he said, and number one, God has here to serve and to take care of people, and that's the number one reason. That's what we're here, following his call, and we love it here. I grew up in Louisville, and so it's exciting to be back home near my family here, and to raise our kids here, and we're just happy to be here and serving all the wonderful people in our area.
Amazing.
That's number one.
So, okay, we're diving into the 5 pillars of health. And the one that we're really going to focus on today is nutrition. And so, with that being said, Dr. Sandy, I mean, can you give us just kind of an insight as to how you incorporate nutrition and healthy living in your own life and your family?
Okay, so we came from having about a third of an acre, and we were growing most of our own garden and things that we want to eat. We like to get out there and garden and grow things organically. And there's nothing better than planting the seed, watching it grow, knowing it's not sprayed with the chemicals and things, that we're producing healthy food for our family. And just the fun of going out there and getting it and eating it and enjoying it. And then we'll preserve it by freezing it and water bath canning it. But to grow your own fruit and vegetables and have all the full nutrition is just a pleasure.
That's so cool. So you went from
a large garden,
about a third of an acre, you said, in California, and now what do you guys have?
Yeah, we have 10 acres.
Not all of it's garden.
No, no, but it's much bigger than it was. So you can start small when you're starting your garden and organic. You can start on your patios and things like that, growing your own food. And number one, grow what you like to eat. Because I got all excited for several years and grew everything. And now we really focus on how much we use and growing it healthy, and then putting that up and then eating it all year. And we have teenagers, so we need a lot of food for our growing teenagers.
What are some of the main things that you grow that y'all eat that you guys like and you think that's, manageable and that you guys like to eat, Dr. Sandy?
We grow a lot of tomatoes, and so since we're planting that, we're doing like Amish paste aroma. We make a lot of salsa. We eat salsa all year long. We grow all the peppers that go in the salsa and in the meals, and so we have bell peppers, hot peppers. We have everything from strawberries. We have carrots, onions, beans, beets, and radishes, and we grow.
That's awesome. So
can we
we're going
get
to
an
need some of
order
that
for
salsa,
next
right, Caroline?
week? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You've been holding out. You've been holding out on the salsa, so that's definitely a must. I like mine. I don't want it too hot. I don't want it set you on fire hot, but a little kick to it.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh.
I'll take a whole jar of that.
So with that being said, I think you pretty much you touched on one of the tips, which is grow what you eat, right? So that way you're not being wasteful. So what would be another couple of just healthy changes that you think in nutrition and homesteading that somebody who hasn't started this journey could kind of, where would you start? That's not, where it doesn't make it like overwhelming,
I would say just start. Take a small little patch of land. You don't have to have a farm. You don't have to have 10 acres. You could start just in your backyard or on the patio. But just start with the things you want to see grow, things that you're looking forward to eating. And we also raise some chickens. And so you can even start with just 1 or 2, something small. You don't have to have a whole farm. You could start very small, and it's easy to do. And you just get more experience and more passion each year as you watch those things grow. And it's fun.
Yes.
If you've got
so,
time for that,
Dr. Andy, what is the best part about homesteading?
Well, I like to be with the family, do things together. As a matter of fact, we were out there the other day in the garden together.
Yeah. So it's great exercise for all of us together. It's good family time. And we're producing our own food and growing it together. So it's exciting when we bring it in as a family and get to do that together.
When do you have to feed the chickens, Dr. Andy? You usually feed the chickens because I hear about this when he comes in the office, especially on the cold days. Tell us a little bit about feeding the chickens. How many chickens do you have? Talk to us about, Dr. Andy, like some of the chickens are for eating and some of them are for laying and some. So give us an idea of how that works. Because you know me, I like chicken, so I'll eat all of them. I don't care about the ones that I go out there and it looks good. I'm go ahead and take care of it. I remember before you say that, I remember, Caroline, when I was younger, I just never really thought about it. I was probably 10 or 11, and I was in West Tennessee at my grandma's house. Yeah. And, you know, I ate chicken, and I saw the chickens in the yard, but I just didn't put it all together. You know, yeah, I never thought about it. So I saw my grandma walking through the yard, and she's kind of scurrying around, and finally I see her grab a chicken. I'm like, oh, something must be wrong with the chicken, you know. Something, the chicken must be hurt or injured or something. And she just had it like this, and she just, and I was like, then it all like lined up for me. I was like, we're going to eat that tonight. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. But sorry, that was a tangent. But just tell us a little bit about how many chickens y'all have and kind of how that works and which ones you eat and don't. And I think that's interesting. You have some purple chickens or something. You have colored. You got some red chickens, yellow chickens. Go over all that with us.
Well, we've got American breast chickens for our meat chickens. They're across. So you can use those for eggs or meat. But it's a pretty good sized chicken. But it's red, white, and blue, which we're all about.
Come on.
Tastes delicious.
They got blue feet, they got white feathers, and they got red beak. So, combs, I should say. But anyway, those are our meat chickens.
Okay.
And, we're just kind of starting on that one right now, getting it going. But we're going to incubate some of their eggs soon and have some babies in about a month.
Yep.
Those will be our freezer chickens. And then, we've got about 20. I think about 20 of our layers right now. They come and go.
Yep.
You know, sometimes they just part of it. You know. But
so what is that? Because
just perfect.
Or I should say,
That's
I
awesome.
probably shouldn't include Ryan in this, even though he is. But I promised the kids chickens this spring, so we're gonna get like 6 chickens. That way, you know, like each kid gets a chicken, and so.
I don't know, Caroline. I think you might need to stick to making bread. That's a whole nother episode. This is a disaster waiting to happen. I mean, I see Dr. Andy, Dr. Sandy having chickens, but I just don't see Ryan coming home with his tight jeans on, trying to go outside and kill a chicken. But go ahead.
We're not doing meat
I don't want
chickens,
to rain
just
on your parade.
The chickens that are laying the eggs. So we're not going to go butcher chickens this go.
Okay.
So is it like a certain
that makes sense.
breed
I'm tracking.
can, lay so many eggs a week? Is that how that works to kind of, magically set that up?
Yeah. You have different chickens that are kind of good for our area with the heat and things like that, but also you want to see how many days a year that they lay. So like our white longhorn, they lay just about every day of the year, even through the rest of the year when the other ones stop laying as it starts to get cold and there's dark days. But they're just good layers. And we have some beige Orpingtons and some black Australorps.
That's so great.
And
That's
so
good to know
are also really good layers.
Yeah.
So we have chickens and then we have little babies too. So that number is both chicks and
that's awesome.
We have some.
I'm excited.
About 10 adult.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be good.
You got a rooster out there too, don't you? Because I heard him. I heard him when I was out there. He's getting after it.
Yeah, you have to watch out for those roosters. You got to watch
out for them. Yeah, they like to go after your boots.
And then, so and keeping with nutrition too, just to kind of bring this full circle, when you guys are in the office adjusting, what are some quick tips that you would want your patients to know? Whether it's to get started on their health journey, nutrition wise, what are some quick things that patients or people just listening could start, right away?
I would say right now is the beginning of the growing season. So a lot of people were about 10 weeks out from when our last frost is. So it's a perfect time if you want to start some seedlings. You can start really inexpensive. It costs only about $2 for a pack of seeds, but it can grow rows and rows of food for you. So it's an inexpensive way to just get out there and put some seeds in the ground, see what happens. Have some fun with it.
I know.
Yeah.
And I've always told my patients over the years is if man made it, don't eat it.
Isn't it?
That's one of the best ways to
we're coming
to
back
make
to that. right? We kind of got away as an American society. It's like mass-produced food for the masses, but now there's this journey to kind of bring that back, you know.
Yeah. And I've also, just to add upon that, Dr. Andy, I've also heard, you know, just as a general rule for nutrition, if you shop on the outside of the grocery store, and stay away from the inside, minus the beer counter, of course. But if you shop on the outside of the grocery store, you're pretty much staying in the live food section. If it's alive, you can eat it. And also too, for our patients out there that are listening, you know, if you say, I don't like broccoli, I remember growing up, we never had broccoli. We never, you know, we just didn't have a lot of vegetables. My mom was kind of a meat and potato kind of family. That's how we were raised. But, you know, with being with Marge, like rice was not something I grew up on, but now you acquire a taste for it. So if you begin to eat healthy and live, lettuce and salads and things, outside the grocery store, I think, you know, over time, the bottom line is, to me, when I get home from work and I'm hungry, I'll eat it. It's just a matter of something, you know, eating something, and then you acquire a taste for it. And you feel, when you eat healthy, you feel so much better. You know, food does either one or two things. It either gives our body energy so we can do the things that God's called us to do, or it robs our body of energy. If you've ever ate a double cheeseburger, it might be good while you're eating it, but 20 minutes later, you're like, I need to lay down somewhere for a long period of time. And I know you guys stay busy. Y'all stay busy at the clinics and at the office. We see a lot of people, so I'm sure you eat light lunch. Can y'all share with us, like, what's a good lunch food that you're like, oh man, I have this for lunch, and this really keeps me going and keeps me rolling? What would you give some advice there for lunch before we close out?
I eat leftovers from the night before. If we grill things like that, I try to have leftovers, so it's just quick and easy. It's already in a container from last night's meal.
That's smart. That's good. That's good.
And it saves me money, and I'm not going through the drive-through, so I'm getting less calories.
That's good.
I knew it was good organic food I made the night before.
What are you making tonight for dinner,
healthy.
Dr.
That's
Sandy?
awesome.
I'm gonna put some chicken on the barbecue.
I like it. Does Dr. Andy, does he cook too, or just?
He does. He's great on the barbecue. He loves barbecue.
Well, man, if nothing else out of this episode today, we know where we can go eat, Caroline. We've got some salsa. We got barbecue, chickens, eggs. I'm probably going to need some of those eggs too, because, man, breakfast is my favorite. I love me some breakfast. Before we close out here, any future plans for pigs?
Yes.
Come on, let's go. Now we're getting into some bacon and sausage. You're talking my kind of language. Forget all this other junk. We get in some ham, some bacon, some sausage. I know a lot of people got a lot of, probably don't need to add this on the nutrition podcast. However, I would say that, man, ain't nothing like a
I'll take the ham hock to make some good collard greens. So why not? Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Well, guys, we want to thank you again for being on today's episode, and we're so grateful. I speak on behalf of the patients as well as myself. If you guys don't know where that office is located, we are in the Optimus Place building in Dandridge right there. It's right downtown. If you come up the street there where the main red light is, you hang a right. We're right there on the left. Dr. Andy and Dr. Sandy, they work in that office. They do a phenomenal job. They're so knowledgeable of the body, and they do a fantastic job. But most of all, they love people. They have a heart to serve people. So we're so grateful for them. Dr. Andy is that Rogersville location is growing too. We're next to Papa John's in Rogersville. If you're interested in setting up an appointment, and you mentioned you heard us on this podcast, I'm sure they'll have a link. 47, you can come and get exam, consultation, x-rays, and
Thank
your
you all
first
so much for sharing your knowledge, all things nutrition, homesteading, chickens. We love you guys. You're the best. Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.